Hello friends and welcome to YouTube channel Freedom Tech, and in this session what we are going to learn. In this session we are going to install Raspberry Pi OS, Raspbian OS Bullseye on our Raspberry Pi 4. Also we are going to configure the Wi-Fi SSH with the help of Raspberry Pi Imager software for the first boot. Also we are going to configure the VNC server on our latest Raspbian OS Bullseye. We are going to install all these things on our Raspberry Pi 4 GB RAM model. The same steps for the Raspberry Pi 4 8 GB RAM model, also same steps for the Raspberry Pi 4 400. So before we move to our practical friends, if you learned something from our videos, please consider to subscribe our channel. Okay friends, thank you so much and let's get started. So friends, first thing first we need to download the Raspberry Pi Imager software. For that we need to visit on their official website. I will mention the link inside my description box. You need to simply click on that link. So raspberrypi.com, and here you will see the software option. As you can see, simply click on here and just scroll down, and then we will see the Raspberry Pi Imager. So here it is, the setup file for the Windows machine, the Mac OS machine and the Ubuntu machine. Download the setup file as per your operating system. Right now I am on Windows operating system, Windows 10, so I am going to download the setup file for the Windows. So we are going to click on download for the Windows, and our setup.exe file is now going to be download. I am going to make cancel because I have already downloaded the setup.exe file. So simply download the setup file as per your operating system. Also I have installed the Raspberry Pi Imager software. If I go here, and as you can see, this is what our Raspberry Pi Imager version 1.6.2. It is really easy. Simply download the setup file and just click on next, and your Imager software will be installed on your Windows machine. Same steps for the Mac OS and the Ubuntu system. Okay, after that we need here a SD card. So just take your SD card and insert the SD card into card reader and connect the card reader to your laptop. I have here a 16 GB SD card. As you can see, 15.9 GB SD card which I have connected to my laptop using card reader. Okay friends, so first thing first we need to choose our operating system. So choose OS, then we need to go inside the Raspberry Pi OS and other option, select it. Then here you will see the OS Lite and OS Full. So we have here Raspberry Pi OS Lite version with 32-bit and Raspberry Pi OS Full version with 32-bit. In this session I am going to select the Raspberry Pi OS Full 32-bit. Of course you can download the image file from their website direct. You need to simply scroll up, and again we are going to select the software, then scroll down, and here you will see manually install an operating system image. You need to simply select the see all download options and then just scroll down, and here it is what the options for the downloading latest Raspbian OS image. So Raspberry Pi OS with desktop and recommended software, simply click on download and your image will be downloaded. If you want to go with the Raspberry Pi OS with desktop, you can click on download and just download the image. Of course, if you want to go with the Raspberry Pi OS Lite version, simply click on download and download the image. I have downloaded the Raspberry Pi OS with desktop image already. Okay, I'm going to show you here in my download. Here it is what the download folder, and inside that compress, and I have created the RPi OS folder. Simply I'm going to open the folder, and here it is what the RPi OS Bullseye zip folder. Okay, so when we download the image from their official website, it will come with the zip folder. We need to unzip the folder. So simply right click and we are going to extract all, and it will extract the folder, and here it is what our folder, RPi OS Bullseye. This is what our folder. Simply click it and open it, and here it is what our image. So we are going to select this image. Okay, so just open the Imager software. If you want to go with here, if you can just go with from here, you can just select the OS other and choose as per your requirement, you can go with the light and you can go with the full. Okay, if you don't want to download the image from imager, of course we are going to download the image from the website and we are going to select it. Okay, so first, as I told you, I have already downloaded the image, so I am going to select the use custom option from the imager. As you can see, I have just scrolled down and select the use custom, and here we need to select the image where we have download. So this is what my image, select it, open, and then of course the storage. And as I told you friends, we are going to configure the Wi-Fi and the SSH with the help of imager for first boot. Okay, so simply we need to open the advanced option. So for that we need to click on Control Shift and X. Okay, I am going to again explain it here. For the advanced option, we need to click the keyboard buttons, which is the Control Shift and X, and it will open the advanced option window. Then friends, you will see here the two alternatives, which is the for this session only and for always use. If you want to go with only for this session, you can select for this session only, and whichever option you can select from the advanced option, it will work only for this session. If you want to go with always use, it means whenever you flash the image using RPi imager software, this setting will be automatic create the file inside your image. Okay, so I am going to select the always use, then we are going to select the options. So first option is set host name. So Raspberry Pi is the default name. I am going to set a default name, which is the Raspberry Pi. You can change any name. Then of course, as I told you, we are going to enable the SSH. So simply set the password for the Pi user. So Pi user is the by default user. So we are going to set the password for Pi user for SSH session. So I am going to enter the password. Then we need to simply scroll down, and as you can see here, it is whatever configure Wi-Fi option. Select it, and you need to mention your router SSID. As you can see, I have mentioned my router SSID, which is Raspberry, and then you need to mention your router password. I have mentioned it, as you can see. Then just scroll down, and here Wi-Fi country, click on here and choose your country. I am going to select it here, India. Okay, so just scroll down, and here it is what the IN for India. Then we need to click on set local setting, and it will select the Asia and Calcutta, of course, because I am from India, and keyboard layout, of course, US. Then simply click on save, and that's it. We have configured the Wi-Fi and SS service for our Raspbian OS Bullseye at first boot using the RPi imager software. That's it. Now we are ready. We have select our image, we have select our advanced options, and now we are going to write our image. So simply click on write, click on yes, and as you can see, preparing to write, our image is now flashing inside our SD card. So it will take some time. As you can see, writing process has been just started, so it will take some time. Meanwhile, I will pause the video. So friends, as you can see, our image process, basically our writing process is completed. Now it's verifying. So I am going to simply cancel the verify. Now it's finalizing, preparing to write, and that's it, finalizing, as you can see, and we have successfully flashed our image. Simply click on continue. That's it. Now we are going to insert our SD card into our Raspberry Pi 4. Okay, so friends, I have inserted the SD card into Raspberry Pi 4. Also, I have power on our Raspberry Pi 4 4GB RAM model. Now we need to know the IP address. Okay, for that, simply you need to open your router default page, and inside that you need to go inside the LAN setup option. So I have opened my D-Link router default page, and now I am inside the router LAN setup page, and here you will see we have all the host name along with our Raspberry Pi. As you can see, this is what the Raspberry Pi host name, and this is what the Raspberry Pi WLAN IP address 192.168.0.105. So my Raspberry Pi 4 IP address right now 192.168.0.105. Okay, now simply I am going to open here a CMD, and I am going to try to ping my Raspberry Pi 4 WLAN IP address, it will get us a surety that our Raspberry Pi 4 WLAN IP address is up. As you can see, we have get the reply from our Raspberry Pi 4. It means our Raspberry Pi 4 is ready for the SSH. So now we are going to access our Raspberry Pi 4 using SSH. For that, simply we need to download the putty. So I am going to mention this link, putty.org. You need to simply open the link, then go to the here, as you can see, and then you need to download the setup file as per your operating system, 64-bit ARM, 32-bit and tar.gz file. So simply I am going to download the 64-bit version because right now I am on Windows 10 64-bit version. So I need to simply click on here, and as you can see, the putty setup.file is downloading. So I have already downloaded the file and I have already installed the putty software. So I am going to minimize the browser, go to the here, and we need to search for putty, and this is what the putty application. Simply we need to click on open, and that's it, the window is open. And here in hostname we need to mention the IP address of our Raspberry Pi 4 WLAN. So mine is 192.168.0.105. Simply you need to mention your IP address, and simply we need to click on open, then click on accept. So friends, that's it. Now simply mention the user, which is the Pi user, and password we need to mention the password which we mentioned for our user using the Raspberry Pi imager. If you know, we have mentioned the password for Pi user, so we need to mention that password. Okay, so I am going to mention that password here. So friends, as you can see, we have successfully logged in. Okay, now this is what our Raspberry Pi 4. Now I am going to clear the screen. If I run ifconfig command, as you can see, this is what our IP address. So now we have done with Wi-Fi configuration, we have done with SSH. Now we need to configure the VNC. So simply we are going to run the command sudo raspi-config, hit enter, and simply we need to go here interface option, which is the third one alternative. As you can see, interface option, simply hit enter here, and then as you can see, the P3 option stands for the VNC enable. So simply come to the P3 option, hit enter, go to the yes, hit enter, and it's enabled. The VNC server is enabled. Simply we need to click on OK, then press the tab button, come to the finish, hit enter, and that's it. We have successfully enabled the VNC. Now we need a real VNC for our Windows 10. Simply I am going to open the Chromium browser, and here it is what the realvnc.com. I will mention the link. You need to simply click on the link, scroll down and download VNC viewer for Windows 10. Okay, so simply I am going to click on here, and it will download the setup file. As you can see, it's downloading. So I have already downloaded the file and I have already installed the VNC viewer. Simply I am going to search for it, VNC. As you can see, VNC viewer is already installed. Simply I am going to minimize all this setting, again go here, VNC, click on open, and it will open VNC viewer window. So friends, here we need to mention the IP address. So 192.168.0.105 is the IP address of our Raspberry Pi 4. Hit enter, and here we need to mention the username, which is the Pi, and we need to mention the Pi user password. So mention the password, click on OK, and that's it. As you can see, now I am accessing the Raspbian OS bullseye desktop with the help of VNC on the Windows 10. From here you can use a GUI mode with the help of VNCware on your Windows machine. So that's it. We have successfully configured the Wi-Fi, we have successfully enabled the SSH, also we have successfully configured the VNC on our Raspbian OS bullseye. So we will meet our next video. Till then, thank you, take care, and bye bye.